الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. قال سيد الشيخ: الحديث الرابع والعشرون. حدثنا أحمد بن محمد عن أبي الفتح بن محمد المقري عن إسماعيل بن ينال عن أبي العباس محمد بن أحمد عن أبي عيسى الترمذي. This is the famous author, of Sunan al-Tirmidhi, and this is his famous narrator, Abu al-Abbas al-Mahbubi, I think his name, عن محمد بن بشار عن صفوان بن عيسى عن حارث بن عبد الرحمن بن أبي ذباب عن سعيد بن أبي سعيد مقبول عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال: قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: لما خلق الله آدم ونفخ فيه الروح عطس فقال: الحمد لله، فحمد الله بإذنه، فقال له ربه: يرحمك الله يا آدم، اذهب إلى أولئك الملائكة إلى ملأ منهم جلوس، فقال: السلام عليكم. قالوا: وعليك السلام ورحمة الله. ثم رجع إلى ربه فقال: إن هذه تحيتك وتحية بنيك وتحية بنيك بينهم. فقال الله له: ويداه مقبوضتان، اختر أيهما شئت. قال: اخترت يمين ربي، وكلتا يدي ربي يمين مباركة. ثم بسطها فإذا فيها آدم وذريته. قال: أي ربي ما هؤلاء؟ قال: هؤلاء ذريتك. فإذا كل إنسان مكتوب عمره بين عينيه، فإذا فيهم رجل أضواءهم أو من أضوائهم. قال: يا رب من هذا؟ قال: هذا ابنك داود، وقد كتبت له عمر 40 سنة. قال: يا رب زد في عمره. قال: ذلك الذي كتبت له. قال: أي رب فإني قد جعلت له من عمري 60 سنة. قال: أنت وذاك. قال: ثم أسكن الجنة ما شاء الله، ثم أهبط منها. فكان آدم يعد لنفسه. قال: فأتاه ملك الموت فقال له: آدم قد عجلت، قد كتب لي 1000 سنة. قال: بلى، ولكن جعلت لابنك داود 60 سنة. فجاحدت ذريته ونسي فنسيت ذريته. قال عليه الصلاة والسلام: فمن يومئذ أمر بالكتب والشهود. هذا حديث حسن غريب.
24th Hadith. According to Abu Hurairah, the Messenger of God, may God give him blessings and peace, said: when God created Adam and breathed into him the spirit, Adam sneezed and said, "Praise be to God," and he praised him with his permission. His Lord replied, "May God have mercy on you, O Adam." Then he went to a group of angels who were sitting together and said to them, "Peace be upon you." They replied to him, "And upon you be peace and the mercy of God." Then he returned to his Lord, who said to him, "This shall be your greeting and the greeting of your children to each other." Then God said, keeping his two hands closed, "Choose whichever you will. I choose the right hand of my Lord, and both hands of my Lord are right and blessed." Thereupon God opened it, and there were Adam and his progeny. "My Lord, who are they?" Adam asked. "These are your progeny," God replied. Each human being had the duration of their life inscribed between their eyes. There was among them a man with a light more radiant than the others, or at least one of the most radiant. Adam asked, "My Lord, who is he?" "That is your son David, to whom I have assigned 40 years of life." "My Lord, prolong the duration of his life, but that is what I have ordained for him." "But Lord, I have already committed myself to giving him 60 years of my own term." He replied, "You have, so be it." The prophet continued, "Then he stayed in paradise as long as God willed, after which he was cast down. Adam himself kept account of his years, and then the angel of death came to him. Adam said, 'You've come too soon. 1,000 years were ordained for me.' 'Indeed,' replied the angel, 'but you gave 60 of your years to your son David.' Adam denied, and his progeny denied. He forgot, and his progeny forgot." The prophet added that since that day, written proof and witnesses have been made compulsory.
This hadith to tell us that our initiation was to have direct relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or through the angels of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's no point of humankind to have complete denial, of his beginning, even though we may not experience it, we may not have it, but for me, when this statement comes from the Prophet, it's much more stronger than my experience or whatever I feel or Why? Because this person never have any lie in all of his life, okay? And whatever he mentioned is going to be taken for guarantee without any doubt, okay? When he mentioned about the beginning of Sayyidina Adam, we should take it for guarantee, and this to tell us, we have in our creation, in our physical body, we have the ability to contact with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the ability to communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the ability to contact or communicate with the angels, What makes this almost impossible in us when we occupy ourselves with the physical matters, okay? I look at it as this equation, You are of two components. You have the physical body and you have your soul. In my understanding, and I had asked a non-Muslim expert, in religions, and he told me he never experienced anything in his life has the equal fair share, of the body need and the soul need, as Islam. This was his wording, okay? And here, since you are of the two components, you should have it in very well balanced way, okay? You see the extremes, We have observed some religions or some practitioners, who are completely deviated to their soul, to their spiritual experience, and they completely ignore their body. Some of them, they may not wash their body for years. Some of them, they may not eat, they may not drink, they may not do this or that. And you have most of the people, they are deviated toward the physical need of their body. And by this, they are too unjust with their soul, okay? You have a soul, this soul, it has needs, it has rights, okay? And you should fulfill the needs, of your soul. Example of it. As Darimi narrated, that two angels descended to the Prophet ﷺ, and they describe his holy heart as having 2 eyes and 2 ears. When I don't have this in my heart, that's mean I'm bid'ah. Okay? The bid'ah is not only in the physical activity, it's in the spiritual activity also. And this has been highlighted in the Holy Quran. وَنَحْشُرُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى قَالَ رَبِّ لِمَ حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. Okay? One, because he has this strength, in his side, here 6/6, elsewhere 20/20, okay? But he doesn't have eyes, inside his heart, okay? As many scholars then say, in the hereafter we are going to be in the complete opposite position. Don't ask me how. Now I feel my body and I believe that I have the soul which has been included there. How? I don't know. In the hereafter we are going to be completely opposite. What is the opposition of it? You are going to be manifested by your soul and your body is going to be included there. Okay? So the one in his soul doesn't have eyes, in this life, is going to be blind in the hereafter. The one that doesn't have ears is going to be deaf, in the hereafter, and you name it. Okay. The one who did not wash his soul, and take the dirt away, is going to have very bad foul smell there, in the hereafter. You cannot help it, to stand next to him, for a few minutes. Even he may be the dearest person to you, your son or whatever, you will not be able, to stand next to him. See, all of these facts, we should fully understand it. The initiation was by Sayyidina Adam, as you may read in this hadith. As I told you, this information mentioned here, they are much more superior than my experience. I'm telling you, I don't have any experience there, but even if I have experience, my experience is going to be limited to so and so, to myself. Whereas when the Prophet ﷺ speak about common matter, related to all humankind. Okay, and here we have this experience, this unique experience happened to say that. Then ourselves, we believe, not only the Muslim, even the non-Muslim, they believe that their life is going to end. Okay, they believe that after that the game is over, whereas we don't believe such a thing, you know. We believe that we are going to go back to what? To the soul and the business of the soul. Okay, which is going to be much more longing, you know, than the whole body. Okay, and by this, you know, I think myself, I'm speaking about myself, I should be much more familiar, you know, about how to deal with such a position, such circumstances, such matters surrounding me, how I'm going to use the communication, you know, when I have my soul, how I'm going to pay money, how I'm going to get in touch to so and so, to my friend, to this or that, you know. I believe all of these matters, it has same application as name by name, you know, that we have it in this life, but they are completely different. They have currency, they have communication, they have friends, you know, they have all needs, they have desire. Your soul has a need, you know. When some person, you know, in this life crush completely, you know, his soul, you know, and don't care about anything of it, it's almost dead or close to death. And such a thing, you know, we observe it in the physical body, you know. When you have this person in ICU, the physician, they tell you that he's alive, you know. No communication at all. He cannot speak, he cannot communicate, he cannot have anything, you know. You see, I think we have the same case for our soul, you know. And it's very, very bad idea to have this bad treatment, this malpractice, you know, to our soul, you know. I observe people, you know, in our time, most of them, you know, they are much more than excellent, you know, of taking care of their body. Okay, we should have, you know, a bath every day. We should have something to take away the foul smell of our behind the shoulders, you know. We should have nice clothes, you know, or whatever. Whereas about the soul, we don't care. Okay, even though the whole future is going to be determined according to your soul, according to this particular hadith, which has the initiation, the beginning of it. This is the first point. The second point, it goes with the same previous hadith, how the nature of humankind to have denial. Okay, is going to speak up, you know, about something, is going to promise something, you know, and according to certain positions, certain circumstances, or whatever, you know, is going to deny what he have said, you know. And this is, don't take it, you know, as negative point in Sayyidina Adam, because Sayyidina Adam is a prophet, but I'm not a prophet, you know, but I should have good care, you know, of myself, because when I have this break, you know, and promises or commitment, you know, done, really it's a problematic for me. You see how generous is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You may match this last hadith with the previous hadith. I'm going to speak a little bit, you know, about the previous hadith. I forgot to speak, okay? But here you have the complete story, the whole story about Adam and his offspring, you know, or descendant or whatever, you know. They have the same attitude. And this is the very last one, you know, to enter heaven, he behaved in the same way of Sayyidina. What's the difference? The main difference, that Sayyidina Adam is a prophet. Okay, this is my view. You know. The physics, they think those who work in the physical field, they are the best among the humankind. Those who work in medicine, they think the doctors, they are the best. But the best one, you know, the best humankind ever, you know, in this life, they are the prophets. Okay, these are the ones who are chosen from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I cannot put myself, you know, next to Sayyidina Adam or any of other prophets, you know, because here you have, even though they may have, according to their high standard, they may have some deficiency, you know, but this has been covered, you know, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You yourself or myself, you know, we have this problem. when this problem has been highlighted in this hadith, فَجَحَدَ آدَمْ فَجَحَدَ ذُرِّيَّتُهُ. My main concern is going to be about myself. When I have complete denial of something. وَنَسِيَ آدَمْ فَنَسِيَ ذُرِّيَّتُهُ. Again, is going to concern me much more than the other. When I forget something, this is my problem. This is not saying the Adam problem. I cannot bring a proof, against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what you have said, I cannot do this, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the absolute, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say, قُلْ فَلِلَّهِ الْحُجَّةُ الْبَالِغَةُ. Okay, that's mean when Allah have the most significant and penetrating, evidence, no one have even the right to speak, up against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have some deficiencies, in this hadith. We experience it in ourselves, and we should try to find some solution to these problems, as has been diagnosed, this is a disease. This disease has been diagnosed, by the most perfect physician, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we should, now in the practice of medicine, you have the internist or anyone similar to him and the surgeon, okay? What's the difference between them? The surgeon is not going to listen to you. Say whatever you want to say. He's going to put you to sleep, and do whatever he wants to do. Whereas the other one is going to tell you, do this, don't do that, If you follow his instruction, you are going to get benefit, inshallah. If you do not follow his instruction, you will not get any benefit, okay? And if you took the prescription and put it there, as we hear some stories, and some people, they took the prescription, and they did not use it, and they get improved, This is, in our common rule or general rule, which you may have the exceptions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no benefit of it. And here, this is the way I look at it. We have a problem. This has been diagnosed by Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, and he gave you the treatment for it, and you should be really serious, about it, that this is a sickness, this is a disease, inside yourself, and you should take care of it, Personally, myself, I would like just to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not break any commitment, even if I'm going to go to hellfire, so what, Here, you should prove that you are the complete perfect servant, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what not the other thing. But bearing in mind, I should put in my mind that whatever I do, I'm going to be the best winner, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to gain anything from me. I'm going to gain a lot of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this, to prove my case, to prove that I'm servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I should have complete obedience. I heard this story, from one of our shuyukh. It's amazing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought two of the people of hellfire outside hellfire. One of them was mentioned in hadith. The other one, to best of my knowledge, I haven't read any hadith about it. The first one, after standing, opposite to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a while, he said, go back to hellfire. The one, this is mentioned in hadith, he came looking back. Bring him back, why he's looking back, And he said to Allah, it was not my expectation when you get me outside, of hellfire to make me return back to it. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to say, go to heaven, go to paradise. This is mentioned in the hadith. The other one, I heard it from the sheikh, I don't. The other one, go back to hellfire, and he start running, This is weird, No one there is going to run, You are going, inshallah, will not observe, but you are going to see the people, just dragging. They were dragged, to hellfire, They know what they are going to face. And this person, as a weird action, running, come back. Why you are running? He said, oh Allah, I left all of my life, against your commands, Now I felt I should follow your command, He said, go to hellfire, I'm going to run to hellfire. Go back to heaven. You see, This is the point, there. It's a matter of relations, Allah. It's a matter of expectation from Allah. It's a matter of my action to Allah. It's a matter of the action of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala toward me. And if I consider myself as intelligent or smart or whatever, I should understand all of these matters, and have some benefits, have something, to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from me. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be thirsty, all of Ramadan? Because He's going to drink the water? No. There's something for yourself, for your benefit, okay? Whether you know it or not, you should have full confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? If I want to go back to the previous hadith number 23, okay? That firstly, I cannot, I have full belief, but I cannot imagine that there is a humankind and is going to have an end or stop of hope. حتى إذا انقطعت به الأماني, as mentioned in the hadith. And this end or stop, after what? After having long term, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding him, we have this, we have that, Yani here you have consultant, you have helper. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminding him, we have this, we have that, go and ask for this, go and ask for that, or whatever. Then when he has the end point, which in my mind it's impossible in this life, okay? When he has the end point, nothing beyond it, nothing to hope much more. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as mentioned through Sayyidina Abu Hurairah, he said, you have the double of the whole world. According to the narration of Sayyidina Abu Sa'id Khudri, you have 10 times multiplied, the whole world. Okay, Sayyidina Abu Hurairah said twice, the Abu Sa'id said 10 times. Okay, and here he is going to. Do you have fun with me? And you are the Lord of everyone. You see how dare and how strong is that person to say such a thing, such a comment to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And at that particular point, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam laughed. And this goes with the same thing that I told you about yesterday, that the Prophet ﷺ is perfect in all of his matter, of conveying the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. For sure he's going to use his wording, and his expression, and this is the mainstay, but this is not everything. When it needs to have tears, not as a hypocritic, no, as a real honest, sincere one is going to cry, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as we have in some of these ahadith, I don't know the number. And here in this hadith, when it needs to have the laugh, you see, I cannot explain to you, when I just tell you, your people, that as whenever he laughs, this is described, by some companion, whenever he laughs, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you are going to feel the words, they are completely different, laughing according to the laugh of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here it needed to convey the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and having this good news, good tidings, to us, in such a pattern, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did use something else, something physical besides the talk, to tell us about how great is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how jamali is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how He is going to designate for your people, the good matters, and these matters. So here, I look at hadith number 24 and hadith number 23 as telling us how bad is humankind, how deficient is he, and how great is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and how He's going to deal with our deficiencies, in the hereafter. Move to hadith number 25. الحديث الخامس والعشرون. حدثنا مسعود عبد الله بدر الحبشي حدثنا محمد القاسم حدثنا عمر بن عبد المجيد حدثنا عبد الملك بن ابي القاسم الهروي حدثنا محمود بن القاسم الازدي حدثنا عبد الجبار محمد الجراحي حدثنا محمد بن احمد المحبوبي. This is the main narrator, of Sunan al-Tirmidhi. As you compare, this is different chain than the previous chain in hadith number 24. حدثنا محمد بن عيسى بن ثورة this is الترمذي. حدثنا محمد بشار حدثنا يزيد بن هارون حدثنا عوام بن حوشب عن سليمان بن ابي سليمان عن انس مالك عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: لما خلق الله الارض جعل التميد فخلق الجبال فقال بها عليها فاستقرت فعجبت الملائكة من شدة الجبال فقال: يا رب هل من خلقك شيء أشد من الجبال؟ قال: نعم الحديد. قالوا: يا رب هل من خلقك شيء أشد من الحديد؟ قال: نعم النار. فقالوا: يا رب فهل من خلقك شيء أشد من النار؟ قال: نعم الماء. فقالوا: يا رب فهل من خلقك شيء أشد من الماء؟ قال: نعم الريح. فقالوا: يا رب فهل من خلقك شيء أشد من الريح؟ قال: نعم ابن آدم تصدق بصدقة بيمينه يخفيها من شماله. هذا حديث غريب.
25th Hadith, according to Anas ibn Malik, the Prophet, may God give him blessings and peace, said, when God created the earth, she began to quake. So he created the mountains and said to them, upon her. And she then became still. The angels were amazed at the power of the mountains, and they asked, O Lord, is there anything in your creation more powerful than the mountains? He replied, yes, iron. O Lord, is there anything in your creation more powerful than iron? He replied, yes, fire. O Lord, is there anything in your creation more powerful than fire? He replied, yes, water. O Lord, is there anything in your creation more powerful than water? He replied, yes, wind. O Lord, is there anything in your creation more powerful than wind? Yes, the child of Adam, who gives charitably with his right hand whilst concealing it from his left hand.
Firstly, this hadith is extension of the wording in the Quran, وَفَوْقَ كُلِّ ذِي عِلْمٍ عَلِيمٍ. In knowledge, you have someone who is much more superior. And here, speaking about strength, you have very strong creation of Allah called mountain, and you have the list, how it goes from one stronger to another stronger one, from one to other, and on the top of it, who is there? Yourself, the humankind, okay? And this is to tell me and to tell you about the hidden strengths that we have them inside ourselves that we don't know about them, okay? And this is very important because we are in real need of such a thing, Firstly, because this life, it has all matters, of good and bad things, And it's not good idea to be broken, for any of those bad events, in this particular life. Many persons, they may get broken there, and they are going to have fun of them, by one way or another, or treat them badly, So it's not good idea to be broken. This is for this life. And for the hereafter, you need this strength, to aim yourself, to direct your heart toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it's the case and it's essential, on all centuries, and all times, it's much more important in our times. Why? Because I'm going to be honest with you. You have the stream, you have everyone go this way, and you want to go against the stream, against everyone. Not fighting with everyone, but you should find your way toward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And many persons, they run away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not interested in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are interested in some silly items, in this life, and they don't care a lot, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you should, if you are interested in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you should go against the stream. And this stream, I'm sorry to tell you, sometimes they may be your parents, sometimes they may be your children, sometimes they may be others, we have this Saudi person, who was owner of the largest bank ever, in Saudi Arabia. When he got old, he want to repent to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he want to give the money back or whatever. And I know that his children, they got a medical report that he doesn't make sense, and it's crazy, okay? And by this, they lifted up his hand from his money and make everything work according to whatever they want. This is great story. Why? Because whatever you have the capability or ability to do it by yourself, don't give it to anyone. Okay? Many of us, I'm speaking about myself, we are quite stingy, in this life. After my death, build that mosque, do this, do it, now. Okay? اللهم اجعل آخر كلامنا من الدنيا لا إله إلا الله. Oh Allah, make the last word in this life of us, لا إله إلا الله. Ya Rab, I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as such. But the Prophet, what did he say? He said for that alive person is going to be much more effective than this. Okay? Do you say La ilaha illallah? No. I deserve it, I put it back, to have it, at my last wording. Besides last wording, have it now. I'm a bad person, sometimes. One day I was in the cemetery, visiting my father, and when they were there people, I don't know who was the deceased one, either their father or some of those dearest person, and they start reciting Yasin, and I stopped there, I told them, it's too important to have Surah Yasin. Yes, it's too important. I said, it's much more important for you people. Go and try to find your way through Surah Yasin. Okay? I'm not here, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling that it's not good, to have this recitation for the deceased person, or whatever. But for the alive one, it's going to be much more effective. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ, when he brought the Quran, he did not bring it only for the death, even sometimes when you have you keep entering this house, there's no copy of the Quran. One day you enter that particular house, you have a copies of the Quran. What's going on? Has anyone died? Okay, keep that copy, open. Try to improve yourself. So what I'm trying to say, whatever you have the ability to do it yourself, don't postpone it. Don't let anyone do it for you. You have the ability to perform Hajj, don't ask anyone, to make Hajj in your behalf, after your death. When you have the ability to pay your zakah now, don't ask anyone, to have the zakah paid, in your behalf, after your death, and you name it. Here, this hadith in Tirmidhi stopped at number 8. You are the highest, but you are very strong. In the meanwhile, you are too weak. Why? Because in one hadith narrated, I think by Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, I'm not quite sure now if it's his statement, or he related to the Prophet ﷺ, that this humankind, what is stronger than him that is going to get over him, is sleeping. Okay? When you got asleep, you are going to have all your behavior, You are not going to care about anyone, even your son is going to die, you don't care about the studying, if you have an exam, or test tomorrow, and you name it. The sleeping is much stronger than you, and you are going to have different attitude, of the humankind during sleeping. And they asked Sayyidina Ali, is there anything stronger than sleeping? He said, Alhamdulillah. When you are concerned about this will not enable you to sleep, okay? The test, the appointment, the important thing, the health, whatever, if you have that sleeping come, it's going to take the whole space, and govern everything according to it. But this very strong hold, it has something stronger than it, which is ham, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala he has the possibility, I'm not making dua here, He may take this from the humankind, may take away the sleeping, because He has a main concern. He may spend nights, without sleeping, because of that. And this is just to tell us, that as I said, before, we are limited as humankind, okay? As the way I explained, the basket, and the chess play, okay? This is just to tell us that we are limited in all of our matters. We share many skills, in our life, some of us, they are going to be much superior, in such skill, but really they are bad, toward the other skills, The others, they may be good at these skills, and this is wisdom from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this life or this world, work for everyone, You have bakery, you have grocery, you have butcher, you have all of those matters, I'm not good at them, I'm not going to die, out of hunger, or because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it available to us, by having some other skillful people. What's about the believer? The believer, he should get the maximum of all of this matter to help him for his aim or his main target, which is to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are in a time, our sisters, they have been saved, of baking, the bread for us, because it's available. It was time consuming, Our males, they are saved, they are not going to walk for a long distance, because of the cars or whatever. And we have many of these matters, Let's have it, if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, let's have all of these matters help you to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to have to know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala much more. I'm sorry to tell you, nowadays you have people, they spend on website, hours and hours for to use this thing, You have something beneficial, and the useful thing, yes. You have the Quran. You may put the Quran in your iPhone, and when they tell you and doctor waiting room, the doctor cannot see you before 10 minutes, okay, 10 minutes, open that iPhone, and recite few verses of the Quran. Was this available for our parents or grandparents? No, it was not available. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it available to us. Now, you may have different way of recitation, the famous reciters of the Quran in the whole Muslim world, you may have them in your iPhone. If you don't know how to pronounce this word, you are going to listen to whoever, by whatever voice, you like, okay? When you are non-Arabic speaker, you may know the meaning of that particular word much better than Sibawayh. Okay, because you have all dictionaries, put there, all, everything, This is for me, it tells me, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this Quran easy to be achieved, easy, available for everyone, I see it in my time, which I have never, heard, about it, in the previous time. But I'm sorry to tell you, most of us, we are not interested in such a thing. We are much more interested to send to my friend, good morning, and how are we doing, and where we should meet today, and whatever, All of these matters, if it's not done today, if I did not meet with you today, I'm going to meet with you tomorrow, If I did not meet with you tomorrow, I'm not that important person, to have a meeting, with me. It's better to fix your way with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's better to have few wordings, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what, if you did not send me good morning, if you did not do this, if you did not do that, nothing is going to happen. The word is not going to be broken, So what, nothing is going to happen. We waste a lot of time, plenty of time, for this. And that's why, you see, really I'm serious, about it. When Salat Hifz al-Quran, when the Prophet ﷺ instructed us to have this dua, even though I believe in this dua and you should seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but each item mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ, it has behind it a practice that you should have it in your life. إني أعوذ بك أن أتكلف ما لا يعنيني. This is perhaps the first item. إني أعوذ بك أن أتكلف ما لا يعنيني. أعوذ بالله that I'm going to get involved in something which doesn't related to me, or I don't care about it. When you look at the people, you have very smart people, you have very strong memory, you have plenty of free time. What the main factor, make these people not memorizing the Quran? Because they يتكلف ما لا يعنيه, okay? It's going to be busy in something which is not going to be beneficial for him. You see? And you are going to have all of these items mentioned by the Prophet. Don't misunderstand me. I would like to mention it as begging. I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them. But again, in the other hand, I should have in each wording or each sentence from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as an instruction how I should work in this life, if I'm interested in memorizing the Holy Quran. Move to next hadith. الحديث السادس والعشرون. حدثنا أبو الحسن علي بن عبد الله الفرياني حدثنا أبو محمد عبد الحق بن عبد الله الأزدي حدثنا شريح بن محمد الرعيني حدثنا علي بن أحمد فارسي حدثنا عبد الله بن يوسف حدثنا أحمد بن فتح حدثنا عبد الوهاب بن عيسى حدثنا أحمد بن علي حدثنا أحمد بن محمد حدثنا مسلم. This is the same famous Imam, and I think Ahmad Muhammad, this is one of his narrators. حدثني زهير بن حرب حدثني يعقوب بن ابراهيم حدثني ابي عن شهاب عن عطاء بن يزيد الليثي عن ابي هريره قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يعني في يوم الحشر واقتص الحديث وفيه وتبقى هذه الامه فيها منافقوها فياتيهم الله تبارك وتعالى في صوره غير صورته التي يعرفون فيقول انا ربكم فيقولون نعوذ بالله منك هذا مكاننا حتى ياتينا ربنا فاذا جاء ربنا عرفناه فياتيهم الله تبارك وتعالى في صورته التي يعرفون فيقول انا ربكم فيقولون أنت ربنا فيتبعوه ويضرب الصراط الحديث وفيه فيقول من كان يعبد شيئا فليتبعه ونص الحديث بطوله.
26th Hadith. According to Abu Hurairah, the Messenger of God, may God give him blessings and peace, spoke about the day of gathering, within which the following appears. And there remains that community with its unbelievers amongst them. God, ever blessed and exalted is He, appears to them in a form different to that form of His which they recognize, and says, I am your Lord. We take refuge in God from you, they reply. This is where we shall be until our Lord, ever mighty and majestic is He, comes to us. And when our Lord comes to us, we will know Him. God, ever blessed and exalted is He, then comes to them in that form of His which they recognize, and says, I am your Lord. You are our Lord indeed, they call out. They follow Him, and the path is laid down. This hadith also mentions that God says, He who has worshipped a thing other than me shall follow it.
Firstly, the translation, to say unbeliever, I don't know what's the meaning. Why it was put here. I would like to have the hypocrites instead of unbelievers. Why? Because you are going to find, I don't know which one is longer, I assume the hadith is longer than the verse, in Surah Al-Hadid, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they explain to us how the believers and the hypocrites mix with them, they will come to the day, and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to separate each one, from the other, قالوا ألم نكن معكم قالوا بلى ولكنكم فتنتم أنفسكم وتربصتم وارتبتم حتى وغرتكم الحياة الدنيا حتى جاء أمر الله وغركم بالله الغرور. That's mean, I'm sorry, I keep speaking, and there was a question, to try to translate, I'm going to slow down, and translate or whatever. I'm not a good translator, of this, That's mean the hypocritic, they are going, when they feel that they are going to be separated, from the believer, to say, we used to live together, as the people, in Medina al-Munawwara, they used to live with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have great companions there, and you have the hypocrites there, and they are going to be separated, We used to be together, They said, yes, we used to be together, but you have deceived yourself, you have some fake, or a lie, that you believe in it, which make you deceived, by it, and kept your hope, in such a thing, for a long time, till that the time of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did come. So I would like to match this particular hadith with that. These are the verses, of Surah Al-Hadid. I think roughly these are 12, 13, 14 of Surah Al-Hadid, speaking about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to detach, to separate, this group of them. Then this hadith is very good opportunity, because I was asked, I think in the first session, about, or in this session, about ilm al-yaqeen and ayn al-yaqeen. You see how great is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Now we have ilm al-yaqeen in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, in this event, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to move us before entering heaven. From ilm al-yaqeen to ayn al-yaqeen, we are going to observe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see how great is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is one of the first steps, to be taken, taking place, in the hereafter, that we are going to be improve ourselves, from ilm al-yaqeen to ayn al-yaqeen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala action, when He manifested Himself subhanahu wa ta'ala to us. Okay, this is the first point, which for me it's tremendous and important point that I'm sorry I am incapable, of giving it what it deserves, to be taken, given. Okay, then speak about what? About the mixture. We have mixture in this life. We have mixture in the life, in the hereafter. As I said before, the mixture in our time is going to be real problem. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ, he did say this is not going to last forever. There's fitna called al-duhayma in the Muslim countries, going to separate the people to make them, of two groups, a group of believers and group of hypocrites. Okay, and perhaps we live in this time, and it starts to show up, in some areas, or some places, But this is a real problem. How do I feel it, I'm going to be so. This is my understanding. This is my feeling. You may have different experience. In marriage, okay, 50 years ago, when a boy, has a plan, to get married, the whole family, they are the same. Here, nowadays, either the boy or the girl, you may have the whole family, as righteous, very good one, and that one has some idea or in his mind, and really this is very dangerous. Why? Because the whole of my future is going to be changed accordingly. Out of my experience, I have observed some people, you feel that that person, originally he was a religious man. Now he was put, in an environment far away of religion. You feel from some of his wording that this person, he was religious. What's the problem about it? Some of them, they may correct themselves in this life, the other will not be able to do it. Even you take it from Sirah, When the Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina al-Munawwara, most of the companions, they migrated. Of these youth, they were imprisoned in Mecca. No way you are going to go to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. Then they had this opportunity, in Ghazwat Badr. They went outside with the army, with the Mushrik army, to fight against the Prophet. One of them, or perhaps more than one, I know one, was lucky enough to escape and go to the army of the Prophet ﷺ and be counted, according to Allah, as one of the attendees of Badr, Abdullah ibn Suhail ibn Amr. The others, many of the others, they were killed with their parents, with their fathers. And this verse, revealed on them, إن الذين توفاهم ملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيما كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصير إلا المستضعفين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the excuse. Those who died, that the angel, they are going to ask them, where were you? And they are going to say, we were suppressed, in this life, and we were under the suppression, of the others, and they are going to, you don't have the chance, you know, to escape, to go. يعني nowadays, I'm sorry to tell you, يعني, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala excuse all of us, you know. But nowadays, when we have some bad job, you know, or bad opportunity in some country, we're going to move to another country. I did say this, you know, in one of my rules. If they offer you, you know, $1 million to learn the Chinese language, are you ready to do it? Or not? Who's going to be ready to do it? But when it's come to Quran, sorry, I'm not Arabic speaker. I have this case, you know, in UK, a person, non-Arabic speaker, he said, I want word from you. I told him you should recite one juz of Quran every day. He said, I don't know, I'm not Arabic. I said, I don't care, you should recite one juz. To my surprise, after 4 months, he called me to my clinic, you know, back in Syria. I finished my first khatam. Okay. But I'm trying to say what I have said before. All of your people, you have the strengths, you have the hidden ability to do it, you know. But we are not interested to do it, you know. We are interested in something else, you know. In the degree, the language, the money, the achievement, the PhD, the position, you know. But we are not interested in the marks of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did say about some people, نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ. The Prophet ﷺ, he did say same thing. نعم الرجل أبو بكر، نعم الرجل عمر، نعم الرجل أبو عبيدة بن الجراح، نعم الرجل سعد بن معاذ، نعم الرجل أسيد بن حضير، نعم الرجل معاذ بن جبل. Then what did he say? This is warning for all of us. بئس الرجل, but the narrator, alhamdulillah, did not specify the name. بئس الرجل فلان، بئس الرجل فلان، بئس الرجل فلان، بئس الرجل. This is our case. This is our future. Okay, either to hear from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praising us by saying نعم الرجل so and so, or المرأة, okay, or to say بئس الرجل فلان. Okay. In my understanding, I may be too limited, you know. How is going to do? When some of us, you know, they have the main concern, you know, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything else may be fixed, you know, here or there, you know. But the main concern, don't play with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't have a joke with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't try with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of experience, out of trial, out of this or that, you know. Be confident about that. Be sure about it, you know. Whereas the other one, you are going to find him, you know, quite strong, quite efficient in all aspects of his life. When it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he's out of it, you know, completely. I'm not telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the absolute, but such a person, he may be called, you know, the بئس الرجل فلان. This is not good man. Okay? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help all of us. I think we should leave the rest of the session. Right? For question, you did not put the mark in the questions.
In Hadith 22, there's a pattern for the first few lines, the first 3 lines, and then it's broken at the end. Why is that the case?
22?
Yeah.
What was the question again, please?
It says there's a pattern. It goes from hope to knowledge to worship, and then it's a totally separate line at the end with fear. Why is that the case?
The answer is going to be from my side. I may be right or wrong, okay? Because you have the two opposites, okay? You should be perfect, you know, in holding the opposites, you know. Here in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala case, you have the opposite. You have the hope and you have the fear, which sound for a person like me and anyone who is similar to me as oppose each other.
This is a general question about the Hadith of Qudsi. Is the same level of stringence in terms of tasheeh required in accepting them and acting upon them as is required for other Ahadith Nabawiyah?
This in my introduction, on Friday, I did mention it, okay. You have the Quran as a factor of it should be mutawatir. What's the meaning of mutawatir? To have massive number of people, telling you about it. In our life, just 1 minute. In our life, we don't have this, in medication. We don't have it, in treatment. We don't have it in anything, I'm going to uncover the secret of some physician, They have some possibility that this is a disease, and they try to treat you, with it, They may be successful or not, okay. The only confirmed matter, in your life that there is no God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that the Prophet sallallahu is the messenger of Allah. Then you have the Holy Quran completely as such. Then you have the prayer. Then you have the fasting. You don't have anything in your life confirmed and strongly transmitted, and it's more than one or equal or more than 100% except what's related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the rest of my life, with full respect to the one who served me with tea, this may be stolen, may be haram on me. I don't know. Even you may say this is 1 in 1,000, but it's a possibility. I don't have any confirmed data, about it, Okay. So hey, the whole Quran, the Prophet ﷺ did not even permit anyone to change any word of it. And how did we learn this, Because Sayyidina Jabir and in another hadith, Sayyidina Abdullah Mas'ud, they said, كَانَ يُعَلِّمُنَا الْإِسْتِخَارَ كَمَا يُعَلِّمُنَا السُّورَةَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ وَيُعَلِّمُنَا التَّشَهُدَ. That he used to teach us, for dua al-istikhara or for tashahhud, the way he used to teach us Quran. What benefit I get from this? I understand from this that the Prophet ﷺ, out of his efficiency, he used to make it easy on people, for certain narration or certain whatever, But when it comes to Quran or to this item which is similar to Quran, he's going by his efficiency, to put in the heart, of this student, how to take care, of such a matter. Hadith al-Qudsi, unfortunately, is similar to the ordinary hadith. You may have it mutawatir, you may have it authentic, you may have it sound, you may have it weak, you may have it fake. Okay? So all possibilities of the ordinary hadith, they are applicable for hadith Qudsi.
Two people asked about Hadith 26 and what is meant by the form of God which they recognize or they don't recognize.
This term was used, which is hijab al-surah, okay. The verse in Surah Al-An'am, I think it's this verse 103 in Surah Al-An'am, لا تدركه الأبصار وهو يدرك الأبصار. It means when you see Allah, it's not by this case. Now, when I see some of your people, I'm going to contain him in my gaze, okay? I don't have anything extra there to be hidden from me. I'm going to have everything manifested to me. This is not the case with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا تدركه الأبصار. When we look at him subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are going to see something and we are not going to see something. That's why I was about to say most, but it is all the cases of seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is under the umbrella of what the Prophet ﷺ said, رَأَيْتُ رَبِّي فِي أَحْسَنِ صُورَةٍ. Okay? It is some type of manifestation. You cannot see the real Allah by your naked eye. No. So that's why you are going to have some of the surah, manifestation or surah. I hate to say picture, just surah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, this surah, for sure, all humankind, they know, many of them, about Allah. They don't know some of them, or much more than some, much more they don't know about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show, to manifest, our lacking, and problem in our knowledge, is going to manifest in a shape that no one is going to recognize him. Then he's going to be manifested. Let's make it as simple as this. It may be not the case, It may be much more complicated. It's going to manifest in a shape that will recognize for everyone. You got this point? And anyway, even the people of heaven, when they do see Allah, they don't see the reality of the self of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They have some manifestation, and as I said, I don't know why this question was not asked before. I did say that even the people of heaven, they are not equal in seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why, if they are going to say the self Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they should be equal, in seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have different attitude in seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many aspects.
Last question before the break. Two different people asked about Hafidha in the preface, about 40 Hadith, because the translation says preserve, which could have more than one meaning. Does this mean to memorize or protect or what?
I'm going to give common answer and specific answer. The common answer, this is my belief, I may be completely wrong about it, all right. The Prophet, be Ummi, out of his mercy to his nation, he used to use some wording sometimes, which has many possibilities, to have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept whatever of these possibilities done by the nation, being accepted by Allah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves his messenger. He's not going to make him shown as a liar or whatever, And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to show you the truth of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam all the time. And this I would like, but I declare I'm too busy, but this is very important to collect all of these ahadith, which when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam put a word which has many possibilities, and is going to be our attorney, or our lawyer, to speak up, to defend us, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that they have done this or that. Here, man hafiza, I'm going to have the specific answer according to the common answer. Let's take it by the lowest level of it, which is to memorize, memorize 40 hadith.
Jazakumullahu khairan. Inshallah, we'll take our lunch and Dhuhr break. They pray Dhuhr in the masjid.